presentarle el gran maestro de salsa. It now gives me great pleasure to welcome to the stage our host for the evening, museum consultant and salsa enthusiast, José Obando. José?
Caminando porque la Virgen lo va llevando. Caminando porque la Virgen lo va llevando. Muy buenas tardes, yo me llamo José Obando. The percussion section begins with representing Spanish Harlem, Ana Maria Flores Martinez. Félix Quinto Kid Sanabria. El profesor Juan Ucera. And A.B. Rodriguez Jr. The name of this program is the Ceremonial Origins of Salsa. Therefore, we're going to begin with the areito. 7,000 years ago, people sailed from the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico and South America into the Caribbean, basically hunter-gatherers. They populated all of the Caribbean and part of Florida. There was also a second wave, constant waves of people were coming over to populate all of the Caribbean, very large area. And they also came from the Orinoco Amazon River Basin, which is now Venezuela and the Guianas. Now these people were there beginning 7,000 years ago in subsequent waves. And the Taínos came to be the highest civilization up until the 1500s. And they had a ceremony, a ritual called the areito, in which they sang about history. Pre-Columbian Amerindians did not have any written language. So basically everything was told orally. And so the areito was the very first ceremony that we're going to talk about today, simply because it gave us two instruments, among other instruments. They used the maraca and the guiro. That is where the maraca and the guiro comes from. The Taíno ceremony, the Taíno ritual, apart from the caoba ritual, the areito. The guiro, as you know, has gone through a number of transformations. You have the Puerto Rican guiro, which Mr. Juan Ucera will kindly hand me one. This is the Puerto Rican guiro. And you also know the Cuban guiro, which has the deeper striations. And so you also have the maraca. Hand me yours. It's usually the areito, usually with one maraca. Now, as you know, there's two. They have evolved. They have evolved into maracas like, as these leather ones. And these things, which belong to Mr. Felix Sanabria, it says, Willkommen zu Acapulco. Okay, so since there was no recordings during the areito, all we're going to do is we're going to use the instruments within the context of salsa. The very next thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about Puerto Rico. And in Puerto Rico, we have the national string instrument of Puerto Rico, which is the cuatro. Mr. Quique Ayala is holding one. Is Mr. Quique Ayala here? This instrument is part of a ceremony, a Catholic ceremony, simply because King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella wrote a royal edict that ordered all colonizers going to the New World to take along a stringed instrument to observe and propagate the Catholic faith. So the cuatro plays a church song, which is a seis, except that the Puerto Ricans have diversified it into, as you can see, 34 different variations. This is approximate. There are some that have been lost. There are things that are still being created. And as you can see, there's aguinaldos also, and there's also the villancico. Now, this is directly related to the Catholic Church because it was ordered that you should observe and propagate the faith with stringed instruments. Needless to say, in 1512, the bandurria arrives in Puerto Rico. According to the customs records, in 1512, the bandurria arrives in Puerto Rico, and in 1516, the guitar arrives in Puerto Rico. Well, the first thing that anyone heard in Puerto Rico was the bandurria, and it was playing church music. So during fiestas patronales, we're getting back to ceremony a lot. During fiestas patronales, what would the jíbaro hear? But seises and aguinaldos and villancicos. And so they started to carve out their own instruments out of approximately 60 kinds of woods that there are in Puerto Rico. You can make a cuatro out of. But the lid is always made out of jagrumo. So this is the reason why in the salsa genre that we're speaking about today, salsa is the only American musical genre that celebrates Catholic traditions, Catholic holidays, like the Advent, Christmas, and Three Kings Day. Jazz does not celebrate Christmas. Hip-hop doesn't celebrate Christmas. Rock doesn't celebrate Christmas. Country and Western doesn't celebrate Christmas. It's only the folkloric music of Puerto Rico, ergo salsa. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is the Afro-Puerto Rican part of it, which is the bomba. In the southern coast of Puerto Rico, there's 10. In the northern coast, there's 4, approximately. And then we have plena. That's 58 rhythms of Puerto Rico. And then we have the Afro-Cuban rhythms with number 14. You add those together, that's approximately 95 rhythms that you have to fathom in salsa to be able to be adroit. And these gentlemen know this. I'm now going to present to you a musician that represents, apart from 95 rhythms, he represents salsa. Ladies and gentlemen, none other than Mr. Joe Motoro. The first number that we're going to do is, of course, keeping with the ceremonial themes. Most of the words that you will hear in the lyrics will be about Catholic saints or Catholic rites or Catholic rituals. To help us out with this number, we have another personification of salsa in the body of Miss Cita Rodriguez. She is the daughter of the late, great Pete El Conde Rodriguez. Cita Rodriguez, please.
Muchas gracias, buenas noches. Hola. ¿Y por qué tanto silencio? Una clave ahí para gozar, mi gente. que quiere cantar. Una clave sabrosa, mi gente. Ta, 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 ta. Que viva Chango, oye bien el coro bongo. Me crié en Nueva York escuchando esta canción y ahora te la canto yo. Chango, 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 dame aquí, oye esta negra te canta aquí. Que viva Chango, que viva Chango, oye bien lo que les canta.